right, so on today's video, I want to share with you one simple thing that you could do to set yourself up for success, for healing, for transformation, for your mindset, and for having an incredible year. You know, setting yourself up for success is so important. And all too often, I see people who are wanting the best in life, or wanting to be happy, healthy, change their lives, and yet they're not really setting themselves up for success in doing so. And of course, habits are crucial. And so one specific thing that you could do is change the way that you wake up in the morning and how you feel. And there's a simple way to do this. So I'm going to unpack this. But imagine for a moment if you woke up every morning feeling excited about the day, and feeling excited or feeling happy or excited to start the day, and you really felt that. What would that look like for your life, for your year, for your health, for your relationships, for your love, your connection, your ambition, and just the way you feel about life? I mean, that would be pivotal, right? Now, there are simple things that you could do to help set your life up that way. And this is what I did during my own injury, was exactly this, is I figured out ways to just make myself feel this way, even though I had been going through such a hard time. You know, if you know my story, I was wheelchair, walker, cane, an absolute mess. I would wake up and the first thing, like if I slept at all, then I had all of this pain shooting through my body and I didn't get enough sleep. I mean, that was my life, but I had to change it. And so no matter where you are, if you feel like your life is already great, but you just want to take it to the next level, or you feel like you're in a really bad place and you want to take that to the next level and you lift yourself, no matter where, this can work for you. And what you could do is set yourself up to wake up to something that immediately jogs your emotions and your memories in a positive way. Now, even to this day, by the way, I do this in my own life. And one simple thing that I have set up is I have a picture of city lights, of like an overlook of the city. And I can see that first thing when I wake up. Now, this might sound silly, but let me tell you, there are emotions that I have connected to it, and a few really profound things for me that are connected to this picture. And one is this. One is that as I was going through my injury, I had this feeling of just really wanting to be part of life again, and just wanting to feel the feeling of connection with life. And I would literally go up, I would literally drive up this hill and overlook, like it overlooked the city lights. And I remember thinking, I just want to be a part of life again. And so it was like this feeling for me of life. And so when I see that picture, I just feel this feeling of love towards life. Now, another thing is that when I have this feeling of wanting to make a bigger difference, of wanting to help and more people wake up to the awareness that we can heal ourselves, we can have a great life, we can create change. And so when I see that picture of the city lights, it just makes me think that, just reaching more people, connecting with more people, more love, more healing, more happiness for our world. And so it just motivates me to want to feel that. Now, the beautiful thing is, by the way, so what I love, and by the way, just appreciating all of you is that right now out of I think there's almost 4 million podcasts, and my podcast is in the top 1% of all podcasts. And it's thanks to you for sharing it, for listening, for being here. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing this message, for understanding that personal empowerment and healing is so important. So thank you. And that it also makes me feel that. So this simple city light picture has so much emotion for me in it. And because that's what's really I've established and felt and programmed in, and that's what it means to me. Now, by the way, I mentioned that during my injury, I would drive up to look at this overlook and feel this feeling of wanting to be part of life. Now, at that stage, I was not in a good place. And let me kind of paint the picture a little bit more. And please don't ever do this. So I'm going to share something, but don't ever do this. So during my injury, I was on 24-hour morphine. So I would wait until my morphine, like I was off technically. And so there was this gap at like 3 o'clock in the morning when nobody was out on the road. And I had a 4-post cane. So a cane with 4 different posts on, if you've ever seen that. So it's a cane that it's got 4 legs. It stands up by itself. And so this was obviously before Uber and before Lyft and Waymo and all of the driving cars. But so at 3 o'clock in the morning, when I was technically off medication, I would get in my car and I would use the 4-post cane, and I would use 2 for the gas and 2 for the brake. So if I just shifted it back and forth, and I would, and I live right next to the freeway, so I would get on the freeway when nobody was out. I was in this, area on the edge of town, out in the, outside of Sacramento. So, but I would use that, and there was nobody on the freeway at the time, but I would use my cane to help me to get on the freeway, to then use cruise control to get up, and I would I would basically drive up the freeway, get off the freeway, get over the overpass, come back, and it would come down the mountain, and I would just look at the city lights, and I would just had this feeling that just said, I just want to be a part of life. I just want to, like, that feeling. And so it may seem simple for me now, fast forward today, and I've healed. It was just this feeling, this feeling of wanting to be part of life. And so the city lights means so much to me, even though it may seem really simple. But when I wake up in the morning, I see this picture of the city lights, and it makes me think of that very thing, of feeling part of life, of the excitement of it, of loving life, of feeling grateful that I get to be part of life again, of making a bigger difference, of more people getting to experience it. And so it's all of these feelings that I wake up and I just feel alive, and I just feel that feeling, and it's so programmed in me, but it's always that feeling and that reminder. And so if you think about it in your life, is there one simple thing that you could do? Maybe it's a wedding picture, your wedding picture that reminds you that you want to be your best self, or your dreams that you are going towards. Or maybe it is, maybe it is a house that you're wanting, or your kids going to college, and it's that picture and that motivates you, or whatever that is. But that maybe it's a picture, and sometimes people will say, well, what about like an entire vision board? I'm like, oh, you probably don't want to do that, because what can happen is you could wake up and you could see all of these pictures, and it could make you feel like there's a long to-do list. And so instead it makes you want to go back to sleep, or you feel like, oh, like this is just so, but just one thing. And by the way, it could be a picture, or it could be a song. Like you could wake up and you could say, look, this is my song. And I did that too during my injury. It's a beautiful day. And that's part of also one way I programmed myself, is I would literally wake up and say, but press play on that song. It's a beautiful day. Don't let it slip away, and that feeling, and creating that. And so that's the insight that I want to provide you with is, yes, does it seem simple? Yes. And think about the emotions of it. When you program yourself to wake up and to feel alive and to feel excited about life, and you program yourself for that, and it's repeated, like think about what that looks like for your life. If every day in 2025 you wake up and you feel an excitement for life, or you're living your best life or your best self, and you're waking up and you're feeling that love or that ambition, it builds on itself. It's like you start to feel better and better and more alive. And so what happens? You show up more alive in your relationships, and they flourish. Because when you're showing up alive and loving and sweet in your relationships, or your life, or towards life, or your goals, or whatever it is, you feel happier, you feel better. It creates the tone. And so that's the simple insight that I want to share with you today. Just setting yourself up for something that when you first open your eyes in the morning, there is something there that either it's a song, a picture, whatever it is, that makes you feel something, that makes you feel and remind yourself that you love life, or ambition, or love, or just that feeling that you can wake up to and create that over and over and over again. So that's the simple insight that I wanted to give you today. And as always, the more that you can set yourself up for success, as you've seen on past episodes where you'll see me working with people to change their mindset, and they're healing themselves from all kinds of things, and pain and ailments, and autoimmune conditions, all kinds of things. The power of our minds to change our lives and heal our bodies is so incredible. And I see people who've literally turned around their lives just as I've turned around mine, but I've seen people back to back to back, shown it under medical equipment, all kinds of things. So remembering to remember, you're incredible. So that's the insight. And as always, please do make a point to hit the share button on this episode. Share it with somebody you love, somebody you care about, or somebody you don't even know, because the more that every single person in our world is happy and healthy and loved and loving, the better this world is for all of us. And so please do hit the share button, and please do make a point to have the most wonderful, incredible rest of your day. And I look forward to connecting with you on the next episode. We'll see you there.